now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis is ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good morning. Good afternoon and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Come on in. It's time to have a conversation, everybody. Hope the show finds you in good spirits, because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that. We got some things we have got to talk about here, y'all. We got some things to talk about. What is on my face? What is going on? Anyway, hopefully you guys are all doing well. All right. And again, another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that. We got some things that are going on today that I didn't get a chance to really talk to you guys about yesterday. And this morning's been very busy, so I just wanted to slide on in here real quick and give you guys some updates on what's going on today. There is a lot going on, and there's a good possibility that Diddy, Sean Combs, could be released as early as this coming month, as early as October. He may get released because of this new hearing, this acquittal hearing that they are having for Diddy right now as we speak. So this is a very interesting hearing. And if it does actually happen, I'll be surprised. I will say that. I will be surprised. I don't think he's walking. I don't think he's getting out anytime soon. But that's just me. I really don't think the judge is going to sit there and go, yeah, just let him go. I don't see it, guys. I really don't. But we're here to talk about it. And a lot of people are watching this to see what's going on. So let's talk about it. Do me a favor before we get into everything. Hit that like button down below. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick. Follow. Don't forget to subscribe here on my YouTube channel. Go to my second and third channel, The Pascal Show Clips and Pascal Raw. Subscribe on over there as well. That'd be greatly appreciated. Okay. That'd be amazing. All right. Hit that notification bell down below. Set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload. Hit that join button down below. Support the channel if you can. Check out my Patreon. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. PascalMerch.com. Check it out. Great merch be over there. Okay? Check it out. Okay, guys. Well, this is a very interesting morning, isn't it? Isn't it quite an interesting morning, right? Because we have Diddy back in court again. Let me tell you something. This is what money gets you. I'm just going to be real. This is what financial privilege gets you, y'all. It gets you lawyers that won't quit. Okay? These lawyers to this case are like that scene in Brokeback Mountain. I just can't quit you. You know what I mean? They just won't let up. They just won't let the chips fall where they may. Okay? Like, I can't quit you. Nonstop, y'all. This is insane. But they just can't quit them. Yeah. So we're back into the court again because they're still going on the whole thing like, hey, he was making amateur films, if you get what I'm saying. And he was paying these people to come in to do the hibbity-dibbity with his girlfriends, not with him. And it was just a bunch of grown consensual adults doing consensual things together. At least this is what they're saying. That this whole thing has to do with spicy films, and that these entertainers were brought in to entertain his lady. Okay? Yeah, they are literally his team is can't stop, won't stop, and they keep on like poking the bear over and over again. They're like, come on, set him free, set him free, set him free, set him free. And what's crazy is that I don't think this is going to happen, guys. I really don't think the judge is going to be like, you know what, you got a point. You know, it is amateur spicy films. It's amateur films. You're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, he was calling in those entertainers to come in and entertain his lady. He was just in the corner losing his religion. No big deal. You're right. You're right. The time that he spent behind bars is enough. You're right. Let him free. Set him free. Let me tell you something here really quick. And I know some people are going to be like, I see it in the chat. Okay. Some people saying that he's innocent. No, he's not. He is by far from innocent. Now, the trial was a circus. It was a freak show. It was a sideshow. It was an absolute cluster F. It was a dumpster fire of a trial. Did prosecution do all that they could do? Were they all they could be in this trial? Prosecution? Hail to the no. In fact, I think they dropped the ball. We talked about that at nauseum. Excuse me. We talked about that at nauseum when we were going through the trial. 7, 8 hours, 9 hours of us going through transcript after transcript of prosecution going and, of course, doing their cross-examinations and doing what they need to do with trying to get solid testimony from the people that they brought on or to the stand, right? I think they over-delivered or over-promised and under-delivered. That's what I think. That was the big problem. Hey, we're going to do all this stuff. We're about to expose it all. We're about to blow your minds. Get ready for this. Get ready, everybody. Minds blown, right? Only to find out that it was just a fugazi. Wasn't real. Seriously, the prosecution's like, okay, madam, right? One of the Jane Does or one of the people on the stand, right? And they're going, okay, jury, get ready. Your wig's about to get blown all the way back with this testimony. Okay, tell the jury, okay? Tell them what you told us earlier about what happened to you in that room. Nothing happened. Wait, what? Say that again. I was really zooted. And I don't remember everything. Some of it I do, and some of it I don't. Excuse me, sweetheart. Can we have a moment, Judge? Yes, you're granted. Excuse me. Come here, Jane, doughy girl. Come here. You said when we sat down, you said something different. So why are you saying something different now? This is just how I remember it. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we're going to go to the next question. Get ready for it. This one, though, this person, okay, is going to blow your wigs back. Clamp them down because they're about to fly way off your head. Ready? Okay. Sir, were you selling substances and carrying these substances for Sean Diddy Combs? Get ready for the answer. No. Excuse me, what? Wait, what? No. No. Can we run that back? That's not. Come here, mule. You said something different, but now you saying something different. Well, that's just how I remember it. I went into the room. I was sweeping the room, and I found a little baggie. I picked it up, put it in my bag, and it was found in my bag. I totally forgot. Stupid me. Forgot it was in the bag. Okay. I guess prosecution rests. Pretty bad. A lot of things that we were expecting to happen did not happen. Now, did it? It did not. But he still got caught. He still got hit with something. Prosecution, which is wild to me. Not prosecution, I'm sorry, the jury, which is wild to me, still decided, no racketeering charges, none of those things, even though he was doing all these volatile things to these women, and of course, having these men run trains on these girls, on his girls that he would say that were his main squeezes, okay? They still said, no, none of these, okay? None of these. But that last tiny one, he's guilty of. That's basically what happened here. All of these terrible, volatile charges, he's not guilty of. That last one, though, yeah, he definitely did that, which makes no sense. You realize that, right? It makes no earthly sense. Why, you may ask? Because here's the thing. Let me just peep you on game. Here it is. All right. The things that were being presented and talked about in the court during this trial definitely leaned towards a lot of the other charges. He didn't get it, though. He didn't get those. Lucky him. And I feel by the skin of his teeth, maybe not, maybe so. But he got by the skin of his teeth. Okay? And now the judge has to make a decision on how long he's going to be locked up for the verdict and for the charge he was actually found guilty of. Now, everybody and their mama is sitting there going like, he gonna walk free. He gonna walk out next week when the verdict was dropped, just so you know, right? He gonna walk out next week. Watch, son. Watch, son. Watch, son. Because my man is innocent. He didn't do a damn thing except use baby oil and Astroglide and wear masks and be weird in a corner and videotape his girls getting trains ran on them and then melted vanilla milkshakes all over his chesticles and stuff. Remember that ish? Remember that? Yes. I drink your milkshake. I drink it up. Right? So we trip down memory lane. Huh? Oh, is that wonderful? Vanilla milkshakes. Moving on, though. Hold on. Everybody's sitting there going, he gonna walk. He gonna walk free. Watch, son. It didn't happen. Because he's still locked up. I think this is the first time he's seen freedom air in this courtroom for the first time since he went back into that jail when he was found guilty. But like I said, team can't stop, won't stop, can't stop, and won't stop. So they've been putting out all kinds of different things. There's been multitudes of letters being sent to the judge, not only just from Diddy's team, but also Diddy's people. Even Young Miami came out and was defending her mans. Yes, I kid you not. I kid you not. She even wrote a letter saying he's a good man and he's learned his lesson. Let him go. I know she doesn't sound like that. But she even wrote a letter basically saying, set him free like Amistad. Set him free. Right? She's not the only one who's written letters, but she's the most recent one that wrote a letter and said, set him up free. Like Amistad. And the copious amounts of letters and filings that have been sent by his team, can't stop, won't stop, has been unbelievable. So much that they finally get a chance to have a hearing in court today. And now they're trying to get him out as soon as October. Will he get it? I don't know. I doubt it. You want to know why? There's been copious amounts of times, I said copious too many times, but there's been copious amounts of times that the judge could have been like, yeah, just let him go. You know, yeah, you're right. You're right. His sentencing won't be as bad. It's gonna be fine. Just let's get to the sentencing date. Let's just get there. Let's get to October, and I got you, bro. Okay, you are locked up until your sentencing. Okay, so let's just get to the sentencing. But they keep sending out filing, trying to have requests for hearings, etc., so that they can get him the F out. Like I said, financial privilege is something else. Because if he does walk today, or if he does get the go-ahead that he's going to get out as early as October, that means it's because he paid his team, can't stop, won't stop, a crap ton of money to keep annoying, basically borderline harassing this judge to say yes. Interesting. That sounds very interesting because that's very telling about Diddy as well. Oh, diggity damn. Does that not sound like something Diddy would do? At least that's what he's been alleged of doing. Ain't that interesting? No? You're saying no? I'm going to keep talking to you, and I'm going to keep convincing you until you say yes. Because I don't know what no means. You know what I mean? No. I don't understand the word no. So I'm going to keep asking the judge, and I'm going to keep drilling him until he finally says, fine. Oh my God, just go. You can go today. Just go. Fine. Leave me alone. Just go that way. That way. Freedom is that way. Go. Bye. I don't want to leave. I don't want to read. Oh my God. If I see another letterhead with Agnifilo, Mark Ruffalo on that mother lover again, I just might snap. Just go. Door's right over there. Just go. Go. Bye. That's what it feels like. Okay? Because they continue to put out more and more stuff. Okay? And that would, Sierra, you're right. This is a joke. I'm just making a joke. That would make a very bad judge. Okay? That would make of a very bad judge. I agree. But at the same time, the amount of paperwork that this man has gone through, that this judge has gone through, is insane. And now they're having a hearing right now to see if they can get him out. So they're getting what they want. Actually, Diddy's seeing his money at work. Let's just say that too. Let's not forget that. He's seeing his money at work. So this whole thing might just be a show. Just might be a show for Diddy. He's spending, the word of the day is copious, a copious amount of money to get free. So maybe he's like, okay. My money is, I'm seeing my money right now. I'm seeing my money being used and utilized right now because I'm in this courtroom. This is going to happen. I will be set free today. I doubt it, guys. The millions of times they have sent some sort of letter or some sort of filing towards the judge has responded back every single time, unanimously no. He said it a copious amount of times. No. And yet, we're here again. All over again. Let's take a look at this, shall we? Let's take a look at this. This is insane, okay? He's back in court ahead of his sentencing because his sentencing is going to be happening in October, guys. It's not far from now. Literally, we are at the butt end. He might like me saying that. But we are at the butt end of September. Okay? We are at the butt end of September. Soon enough, y'all will be playing that song. Wake me up when September ends. Like, wait, everybody gonna do that. Okay? Everyone does it. All right. But we at the butt end of September. So all he has to wait is a few more weeks and he'll find out his destiny, his fate. But no, he needs to get out as soon as possible because he believes the crimes that he has done do not apply to why he's being locked up. He says this is just amateur adult films. Why should he be getting punished in the way that he's getting punished? By the way, let me say this too. It's funny how the world works and how late things pop up. If you really think about it, ain't it interesting how they're talking about that now when that could have been an argument that they could have used while in trial? Think about that for a second. This whole thing of them saying, well, don't you see, this was amateur films. He was just paying the people to have relations with his girl. Not for him, but it was for his own actual gratification as well, because he was in the corner wearing, weird masks and just fapping away, right? Why didn't they use that argument during the trial? It was a long-ass trial. They had plenty of time to use that as an excuse or as an argument, and they did not. And then all of a sudden now, well, for the last few months, since his conviction, they have been trying to use that over and over and over again. Okay? So, he's expected to re-enter. He's already in the courtroom, okay, today, over 2 months after he received a split verdict in his wide-ranging S-crimes case and was acquitted on the most serious charges. So the music mogul, who a jury found guilty on 2 counts of lesser S-crimes charges after a trial that captured the nation's attention, is slated to return. He's already in there now, okay? Now, they're saying supporters and celebrities once gathered to hear graphic testimony from multiple witnesses, including Combs' ex, Cassie, about his allegedly volatile relationships and what prosecutors called his racketeering enterprise. He is set to watch as a judge hears arguments from both defense lawyers and prosecutors that will help determine how much time he'll spend in prison ahead of next week's sentencing. So his sentencing is next. Like I said, all he has to do is wait till next week, baby, and he'll find out everything. But no. Look, next Friday. His sentencing is set for next Friday. By the way, we will be watching it. Just a heads up, we will be watching it. We will be sitting out here chopping it up, talking, chilling like a mother lovers out here in these streets, waiting for his hearing. Next Friday is going to be a big deal, okay? Big deal, because this closes the book, or at least ends the chapter on this part of his life. Now, yes, he could see some serious time behind bars. Now, a lot of people are like, nah, he ain't going to get serious time. That ain't going to happen. That ain't going to happen at all. Nah, not at all, right? You never know. Seems like the judge don't F with him too much. Just so you know, the judge ain't riding with him too much. And I think he's made that abundantly clear. So his charge or his sentencing could be harsh or it could be very, 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 very lenient. I hope that whatever the judge decides to do is fair and right. That's why I'm, not too vicious, but not too light. It has to be fair. Okay. So what was his verdict? We already know he was acquitted on 3 counts of racketeering and STing charges. He was convicted on 2 counts of transportation to engage in pros. How much time did Diddy spend in prison? Or how much time could Diddy spend in prison? Each count of transportation to engage in pros holds a maximum sentence of 10 years, tallying up to a possible 20 years in prison for Diddy. However, he'll likely face less time based on requests from his legal team and guidelines from the prosecution. Yeah, even the prosecution's like, well, if he got these charges, he'll get, we say 5. So you also got to remember time served. So if he gets 5, he'll only get really 3, maybe 4, and that's it. But he'll be locked up for 3, maybe 4 years if he gets sentenced to 5 years. Defense attorneys are expected to argue for the conviction to be overturned and for a limited sentence that includes time already served. Prosecutors are expected to seek the highest possible punishment under federal sentencing guidelines. So earlier they were trying to get him, they were like, 5 to 6 years is fair. Now they might be going for the whole thing. They might be like, at least lock him up for 10, right? 5 for each count or something of that sort. So he could face 51 months to 63 months in prison under the federal guidelines, while the defense has said the same guidelines instead suggest a 2-year sentence. So if he ends up getting a 2-year sentence, he's already spent 14 months or so in prison already or in jail. So then he would only have to ride out a few more months, and that's it. Less than a year, and then he'd be out free. That's if the judge decides to do that. But remember, I want to remind you of something. The judge didn't take kindly to the verdict. That's what I think. I think the judge felt that this guy did a whole lot more and was guilty of doing a whole lot more. Let me explain. So while the verdict came out, and there were people outside writhing in the streets, lathering themselves with baby oil and Astroglide in celebration to the verdict, the judge said, hey, sentencing won't happen until, he's like, I want a break. We're going to do a little bit of a break, and we'll come back to talk. And we'll talk about sentencing, what's going to proceed from there, right? The streets were literally slathered with baby oil, okay? Rich men running in their power suits, from building to building were slipping, okay? Slippage, real talk, because of the amount of baby oil that was out there in the streets. People were celebrating, okay? Real talk. It was bad, all right? But one thing is for sure. Cassie wrote a note. Other people wrote notes as well. Let's not forget saying, hey, please don't let him free. Please don't set this man free. He is dangerous. And now we are all scared for our lives because this guy is volatile, right? So then they came back from their recess or their little break, and he said, hey, the judge said, hey, because of the things that I've heard you guys, defense, say with your own mouths, admitting that this man is a volatile individual, yeah, he's going to stay locked up until we have our verdict. You can sit here all day long trying to say, but you said it with your own mouth. They said in the opening and in the closing of their statements, their opening statements and their closing statements, they said, yeah, he's a volatile guy. But did he do this? Right? Judge took that to heart. Okay? Judge took that to heart and said, hey, they got a point. And now I'm hearing from Cassie, one of the victims, and I still believe she's a victim. I know some of y'all are like, she's an enabler. No, she's a victim. Same thing with that Jane Doe. Same thing with that Jane Doe. She's a victim too. But nonetheless, he's like, hey, I heard all of those things. So you know what? No, you're staying locked up, buddy. Sorry. Your own team is trying to say that that is an example of modern love. You got to be kidding me. This is an example of modern love? The fuck? No, you could take several seats inside a jail. Aha! And then we'll see you at the top of October. You really think the judge is going to let this man go today? Solely because they're like, it's amateur porn. It's amateur corn. What are you talking about? Look at it. It's amateur. You can barely see anything. Diddy knows nothing about mise en scène and framing a shot. Look at the shots. Right? They're in there explaining all that and arguing that. You really think today's the day that the judge goes, you know what? Had a good day on the golf course this weekend. It was pretty good, you know? Got to see my family. Ate some really good cake. Had an amazing steak this week. You know what? Diddy, you can go. You can be set free. No, he's not. You really think he's going to change his ways, his thoughts about Diddy now? No. Now, here's the thing. I am not in his mind. I'm not in the judge's mind. We don't know what's being presented in that courtroom and how well the prosecution's arguing against the defense about how this man should be released early. We don't know. But from what we've heard and seen in these streets and the countless times they have filed to try to get him a lesser sentence or to throw the whole case out or to do a whole new trial, the judge over and over again has said, hail to the nah. Over and over again. So there would have to be a pun intended. I paused, so pun intended. But this would have to be a stroke of genius from his defense to convince the judge suddenly out of nowhere to pivot and say, you know what? All this time I've been wrong. Diddy, let me just say this really quick. I owe you an apology. You know what the defense just gave here? They got a point. Okay? You can go. No, it's not going to happen, guys. I doubt it. I doubt it. They're going to be like, we're going to see you on October 3rd. And then the defense is going to go, but judge. And the judge is going to say, I have spoken. Go. That's what I think. This is all just a show at this point to make Diddy feel like his money is being well spent. That's what I think right now. That's what I truly think. It's all for display. It's a front. It's a waste of time. It really is. So several high figures have voiced support for Diddy. Now they have, right? Because the verdict is, it's not that bad. So of course they're now coming out and be like, yeah, he been innocent the entire time. You know what I'm saying? He been innocent. That man innocent, man. Now, ain't that funny? Where were they when he was in trial with all the stuff? The vanilla milkshakes on chesticles, lapping that stuff up, sitting there watching it, these men spill their vanilla milkshakes all over these girls' hoo-has and him lapping it up. Okay? What about all the substances they were taking so that they can produce more vanilla milkshakes? We didn't hear about anybody coming out and be like, free my man, dog. Free my man. He innocent, dog. No, everybody's like, man, that's out of pocket, yo. He did what? No, bro. Nah, bro. Now that's making my own junk itch, man. Bro, stop talking, bro. That's nasty. So the rapper's mother, even, of course, the children, former employees, ex-girlfriends, including City Girls Young Miami, who we have not heard anything at all until just recently, by the way. I want to make that abundantly clear. We didn't hear nothing from that woman. Dallas Austin, Stevie J, even Stevie J. Wasn't he even interviewed on TMZ? Was he part of the freaking Diddy file? The downfall of Diddy, brought to you by Crest. You know what I'm saying? Actually, it would have been more better if I said, brought to you by Shake Shack. Extra large vanilla milkshakes for $7.99. You know what I mean? But all these people suddenly come out of the woodwork now. Don't you notice that? Now. Especially Young Miami, his girl, or at least his ex-girlfriend now. Yeah, I did talk about that in 9 and 4. I talked about that before, right? She wrote a letter. He's a good man. Set him free. Stop. Why didn't you write that letter before, dog? Why didn't you write that letter before, dog? Why not? Explain that. Because that makes no sense. No, obviously it's not being televised. Let me show you what I mean. It's not being televised, man. Look, it's right here. There's nothing going on. It's just people walking back and forth in the rain. Okay? I can stand the rain. Okay? So it's still in chill mode. Okay? Nothing. We're just looking at a revolving door in the New York rain. Okay? That's what's going on here. As we patiently wait for a verdict, for a decision that I think we all know is going to be, which is he's going to go back in that cell and wait for next Friday. And then he will get a proper sentencing. That's what I truly think. But let's continue. So, biggest Diddy trial bombshells, which we already know about all that crap. Okay? But nonetheless, he is trying his damnedest to get out of prison as soon as possible. And the excuse that he's pulling out of his booty right now is that all they did was make consensual content. Content you would see on the P-Hub and the OF, but amateur style. That's all they're saying. Okay? Let's take a listen to this news clip right quick.
Lawyers for Sean Diddy Combs will once again argue today for a lower sentence for the disgraced hip-hop mogul.
All right, the hearing with the judge coming ahead of Diddy's sentencing. That sentencing will be next week. A lot at stake, of course, for the disgraced music mogul. Good day's Briella Tomasetti. She is outside the courtroom with some details for us this morning. Briella, what's happening?
Yeah, well, Dennis Ashani, today's court hearing could help determine how long exactly Sean Diddy Combs will stay in prison. The judge plans to listen to arguments from lawyers on both sides. But keep in mind, he already denied granting bail, not once, but twice, citing Diddy's history of violence. Diddy's lawyers argued in court papers submitted just this week that he should be sentenced to no more than 14 months in prison with credit for good behavior and time served. That would mean Diddy could go free before the end of this year. His attorneys say he's been on, quote, constant suicide watch since he was convicted on 2 prostitution-related charges in July. And since then, his legal team has claimed he's facing inhumane living conditions behind bars. Prosecutors haven't submitted their sentencing recommendations to the judge yet, but they've argued that Diddy should spend at least several years in prison. Although he was cleared of more serious sex trafficking and racketeering charges, prosecutors have said that Diddy committed verbal, physical, and sexual abuse against several women dating back to 2008, forcing them to participate in so-called freak-offs in which he allegedly forced his victims to have sex with male escorts while he recorded them. Several victims have
See? So again, hey, what we did was consensual, and all we were doing was making content for my own viewing pleasure. That's all. I've done nothing illegal. I've done nothing wrong. I mean, he's done a couple things that were illegal, obviously. Okay. if they were to sit there and say he's done nothing illegal, that's not true. Hiring somebody to go in there and braca, to his girl, paying somebody to do that. It's not like they're going, hey, come on over. We're going to go chill. We're just a bunch of friends getting together, doing the hibbity dibbity. No, he's paying these people to show up to braca his girlfriend. And he films it as he's in the corner doing what he do all by himself. Cucking, for lack of a better term. Still illegal. I mean, well, when it's not a paid thing, that's not illegal. What you do behind closed doors is what you do behind closed doors, as long as it's legal and consensual, right? But this is not what it is here, okay?
Publicly accused Diddy of sexual assault in recent years, including his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura and former stylist Deontay Nash, who both testified at the trial. Nash filed a lawsuit against Diddy this past week. Now, the government is expected to submit its sentencing recommendation within the next few days. Prosecutors' preliminary calculations based on federal sentencing guidelines were a minimum of 4.5 years, but their formal recommendation could be significantly higher than that. And remember, Diddy faces a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison, although at this point that seems highly unlikely. For now,
it's highly unlikely. I'll say that. He's not going to get 20 years. If he does, I would be floored. And for a fact his team will stop at nothing to try to reverse that situation, for sure. Okay? They will stop at nothing for that. Okay? But let me see something here real quick. That is Garagos. Let me show you. If I'm correct, that's Garagos right there. Is that Garagos? I could have sworn that's Garagos. Hold on. That did look like Garagos. Oh, come on. One second. Because finally you see some activity. Hold on. They did come out. There we go. Combs family did come out. Let's see. That looked a lot like Garagos. So maybe they are going to speak after this. Maybe they're not. If they didn't get what they wanted, I don't see them talking. No, Diddy is not free at all. He's out here. He's still locked up, y'all. That does not look like.
Hello, Miss Janice. You're gonna be all right for the third?
He didn't get what he wanted. I'm telling you right now, he didn't get what he wanted.
I just hurt myself.
I guarantee you, he did not get what he wanted. Just like he did not get what he wanted. The way that they're walking out. Yeah, it didn't happen. Yeah, it's got to be bail denied again. Yeah, they're mad, Joanna, on Facebook. They angry. That is for sure. They did not get what they wanted. If they did, Mama Combs would have come out here and be like, oh, Lord. You know what I mean? She would have been like, my baby about to be free. She would have said all kinds of stuff. She'd be passing out little travel bottles of baby oil to everyone. You know what I mean? Here, it's time to celebrate something. But that didn't happen now, did it? But this is what money gets you, guys. This is exactly what money gets you, y'all. Do me a favor, though, guys. Please do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. Crush it, do what it do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to follow. Especially go follow me on my TikTok. Follow me on my Facebook, please, and thank you. Facebook is going to be, you're going to get a lot of news updates, news articles, etc., written by myself on the platform. So please go check it out because there's a lot going on, especially with, now that we're going to be on Diddy Watch again. And then, of course, everything that's going on with the David Celeste Rivas case. There's a lot of developing updates that are popping off like every 5 seconds. So please make sure you're following on all those platforms and here on YouTube too, okay? But let's see if King Combs is going to say something. Yeah, they did not get what they wanted. For a fact, if Diddy got what he wanted, King would have been out here jumping up and down, doing push-ups in the street, ripping his shirt off. He didn't get it. Yeah, that's a negative. Yeah, they look defeated. But that could also be just their regular demeanor because they could just be tired. If you really think about it, this whole trial was draining. Imagine being them. Yes, Scorpion Moon Girl. This was for early release. So I don't think it's happening. I don't think they got what they wanted. Okay? They did not get what they wanted. Sorry, I'm just scrubbing through here to see if there's anything more or if there's going to be a statement made by the defense. We'll see about that. There's Garagos right there. Right there. Hold on, let's see. That is Garagos, right? I feel like I'm losing my mind. So let me see. Let's see if there's any updates on that. Don't worry, I'm going to keep that live going, see what's going on. Keep an eye on that. Keep that in the background just to see if there's any updates. Hold on, let's see what's going on here.
Let's say you're right. Let's say you're right. Does it still have an impact on the judge's sentence? Where?
Hold on. I'm gonna mute that for a second. Let me just see if there's any updates from the news. 1 second, y'all. I'm just checking a few things here. Because, oh, dear Lord. Yeah, I'm just seeing if there's any updates. So far, nothing. There's no new updates yet. You'd think that there'd be something, but 1 second. There's TMZ talking about this. Let me see what's going on here too.
Oh, 5 years? The prosecution's asking
Seems
for
like an awfully long time.
Take a look at this
Seems
for a
like an
second.
awfully long time.
Hi, I'm Araya from Virginia, and honestly, after everything that we've seen throughout this entire trial, it might be a time for taking accountability on the actions that you've done. That's just bottom line it. There's no other way to describe it.
Okay, we're out. Hey, okay. Yeah, I mean, he's not saying I don't want to be held accountable. He's just saying it would be ridiculous for it to be 5 years. I mean,
Well, he
wants to be let out.
He actually is saying, I don't want to be held accountable because they're asking to dismiss it.
This is a long shot. I don't see it happening.
Oh, hold on 1 second, guys. Cameron, are we writing up what Diddy was saying to the relatives and everything? That should be okay, but that's the headline. It's not about the case. It's about
This
Diddy
is what he looks.
talking.
Oh my
So
God,
your
he's fully
headline
gray.
needs to be Diddy talking to his family. That's the headline of this.
How did Jacob not mention that?
Just on this.
Interesting. First and foremost, that was interesting how they responded, how they reacted to how Diddy should be, he should be held accountable for his sins, held accountable for the things that he has done. And they were just kind of like, yep, yeah. And that was it. I'm like, that's all you're gonna say? Wow. Okay. All right then. That's all you are going to say. All right then. So again, I'm of course I'm trying to find out if there's any news, right? Any updates about this, right? Sorry, 1 second. I'm just trying to see if there's anything more. Because real talk, I mean, I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory that it did not happen. What they were hoping to have happened did not happen, right? At least from what I'm seeing so far. Hold on. Let me see something here real quick. Nope. Still nothing. Let me put this on for a second. I'm going to keep looking here. Give me a second, guys. Okay, we got something. This is from Inner City Press. So I'm going to pull this from Inner City Press real quick. You know, the man who is doing the incredible job of keeping up to date, giving us live tweets and everything from inside the courtroom. It looks like he wasn't inside the courtroom, but to tweet any of this. But let's take a look at what he has to say here.
Well, here we are, Matthew Russell Lee, Inner City Press. We've just covered the argument for an acquittal or for a new trial in U.S. versus Sean Combs. It went on for a while. It was about 90 minutes. A new argument, at least I thought it was a new argument, made by Alexander Shapiro was that that his rights as a consumer of amateur porn hadn't been addressed by the government. They had addressed him as a producer of porn, and that much of the argument seemed to go around that. The judge asked pointedly whether any act of prostitution could be not prostitution as long as you filmed it. Alexander Shapiro sort of said, this is unique because of the role playing and the use of wigs and the choreographed nature of it all. I don't know. Judge Subramanian didn't rule. Many people. I was just in front talking to some of the Diddy crew. The fact that he said "see you next Friday," they thought telegraphs his decision. He hasn't made it yet. Most motions for acquittal or a new trial are denied. Not all, though. And he might be ruling later today. He might rule Friday. Anytime. We'll be reporting it because we're Inner City Press. Whether this merits a ninth book in the series, I don't know. It's going to depend on the decision. But until then, Inner City Press signing.
I mean, this guy has been doing a great job. He did a great job with the coverage on this whole Diddy trial. So, of course, it's not done yet. And given the fact that you have somebody of the likes of the judge saying, see you next Friday, I think it's safe to say that the judge is going to sit there and say, nah, we're going to wait another week. What's 7 days, right? It's 7 days, and then I'll see you guys, and I'm going to give you guys my verdict or my sentencing, my decision on how long he's going to be locked up in prison or if he's going to be able to walk that same day. You never know, okay? But no, I really doubt, Karen. I know everybody's sitting there going like, ooh, Diddy's going to get pardoned. I really doubt it. I really, really doubt it. I just doubt it. Everybody's been riding on Trump, and Trump's sitting there going like, I don't know. He's like, I don't really know about the whole thing. I need to look into it. But then you also got to remember, Diddy is not a Trump supporter. Now, if Diddy suddenly became a Trump supporter while being locked up, anything's possible. He might be like, hey, I will do anything. But that would mean him sucking up to the likes of Trump. So Italian, I agree. There's no way that Trump is going to be pardoning Diddy, especially when Diddy and Trump are not close. They're not tight. They're not cool. And Diddy is not a Trump supporter. And you know how Trump is. You got to be all up in his ass for him to sit there and go, well, he loves me. So yes, of course, I'll pardon him. This is not the case for this situation. With the Diddy situation, Diddy would have to stroke, here it comes again, stroke Trump's ego. That's not going to happen. Unless he's a born-again MAGA in jail. And I highly doubt that. Okay? Just saying facts. It's not me trying to take a dig at Trump. I'm just stating facts. We all know that Trump likes to be, buttered up. Okay? He likes it when people love him. He loves it. That's the truth. So I just don't see him going and pardoning somebody who is not a Trump supporter. It seems very out of pocket. Real talk. I just don't see it. Paul, thank you so much for the super sticker. I really do appreciate it. Critical Smoker, thank you so much for the super sticker as well. Paul, again, thank you so much for the super sticker again. L. Robinson, thank you so much for the super chat. Pascal, I haven't been able to watch any live for ages, but I'm here now. I'm looking forward to your comedy. Oh, thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, L. Robertson. And thank you so much for the love. I appreciate the support and love. Okay. But yeah, guys, I mean, it does seem like, yeah, buttered up sounds naughty too. Yeah, Debbie. But the thing is that there will not be a decision made, or a decision was not made in the courtroom today. But what you just heard from Inner City Press is that the judge said, I'll see you next Friday, which could be a great indicator that the judge ain't going to change his mind about the outcome, the verdict, the outcome of letting Diddy out free or not. You see what I'm saying? So I really think the judge's going to sit there and say, okay, we appreciate what you did. I see what you did there, defense. You tried that, but still no. We're going to see you next Friday, and I will give you my verdict at that time, or I will give you his sentencing and my decision on how long he's going to be locked up for on Friday. I'll see you next Friday. So I think that's what's going to happen. I truly think that. But again, like we just heard from Inner City Press, he could still make a filing today or tomorrow to basically say, yeah, Diddy, yeah, write out the rest of this month in 2 weeks in October, and you're set free. You can go home. That could still happen, but I doubt it. I really, really doubt it. I think the families were hoping for a very quick response from the judge today, and the judge said, nah, I'll see you guys next Friday. And of course, he said something about, well, does pros is that still considered pro when that particular paid entertainer is being filmed to do these things, right? So again, I think he asked a very good question. I don't think the defense answered well enough to suffice or to satisfy the judge. And so he's like, hey, I will see y'all next Friday. That's it. So that's why you saw everybody, the Diddy family, kind of long in the face. You know what I mean? Because they didn't get what they wanted. But they tried. They most definitely tried. There it is, guys. Of course, the judge will most likely put it in writing what his decision is. But like I said, if he really was going to walk, like let him walk or let him do his thing, I feel like there would have been a decision right then and there inside the courtroom. I don't think the argument was strong enough, unfortunately. But we'll see what happens. You got to remember, his team in their opening and closing statements basically said that he was volatile, that he was a violent guy, that he did put his hands on these girls, on these girlfriends and all that. They said those things. They said that he could be a very bad guy. They acknowledged that he was a violent man. That is something I think is still lingering in the back of the judge's mind. And so I feel like when he gets sentenced is not only going to be, if he gets a harsher sentence, I think the reason why he gets the harsher sentence is solely because of what he heard in that courtroom, the judge, and what his team admitted under oath in that courtroom. What they admitted about Diddy and about his nature, who he is naturally as a human being. I think that's still lingering and hovering over the judge's head. I really do think that. I think this judge is a good guy. I think he's going to be fair. But I also think he's going to say, hey, this is more than just that charge. I think the judge feels like the guy got away with this by the skin of his teeth. And I think he's going to get a sentence that is not going to be 1 to 2 years. I think it's going to be a little bit more. And it's only going to be because of the things that he heard in court and the things that the team, Diddy's own team, admitted throughout the entire trial, from the beginning, middle, all the way to the end. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he got 5, maybe 5+. I would not be surprised. That part, I would be like, okay, sounds like makes sense. The only moments I'd be shocked is if he gets like 2 years or like 1 year, or if he gets like 20 years. Okay. I would be shocked. If he gets like 5, I'll be like, yep, that makes sense. There it is. That sounds like what I was thinking the judge would say. 5 to 6 years. Boom. Right. With, 14 months served. So then he would be out. If he's doing 5 years, then he'd be out within, a little under 4. Okay, cool. He's not missing much, but he's going to learn a lot behind bars, right? He'll learn his lesson. If it ends up being like 10, I'll be shocked. I will be. I'll be like, damn, this judge was not playing. Some things stayed with this judge. And I think there's a lot of things that did stay with the judge. So we'll see. And remember also, let me just say this too. Remember that his team could appeal the sentence too. And they're going to keep appealing over and over and over again until he runs out of money. Or until he actually gets released because of time served and good behavior and all that crap. So this is going to be very interesting, guys. We're gonna see what's going on, but that is the show. Okay, I'll be back on in a little while. There's still a whole lot to discuss. There's so much going on. We still need to talk about David and the Celeste situation. Lindsay, no, nothing new so far. Nothing new on the Haro case at all. But when there is something new, we'll be talking about it for sure. But right now, we are definitely knee deep in the David Celeste case. So get ready for that. We got a lot more updates and a lot more conversations to have over there. But I appreciate you guys for being here. So please do me a favor, though. Hit that like button down below. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms, make sure you hit that follow button, okay? Follow. Don't forget to subscribe here on my main channel. Go to my second and third channel, The Pascal Show Clips and Pascal Raw. Subscribe over there. Hit the notification bell on all 3 platforms so you know whenever I go live or whenever I upload, because it is random and breaking news type stuff. So make sure you do that, okay? Hit that join button down below. Check out my Patreon. And, of course, be sure to check out PascalMerch.com. All right? PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. Anyway, it is time to get going. Much love to you guys. Have a great rest of your afternoon. We'll be back on a little bit later. Be on the lookout. That's why you need that notification bell on, okay? But we'll talk here soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.